On this episode, we've got Missouri Department of Conservation Agent Corporal Matt Bryant. He's also a MoYak member, and he knows the Pomme De Terre area better than just about anybody. So this is going to be a good one. Stay tuned. So happy to get back to work. I'm excited for Pomme De Terre that's coming up, and we've got a pretty good episode.
Yeah, man, this should be a good one. Get some information, some local knowledge. The guy that's not only around the area, but part of the MDC, part of the conservation that knows what's going on, and it's gonna be cool to hear what goals they have and what responsibility he has on a daily basis. Taking care of our waters and land.
Yeah, we're grateful for everything that the Department of Conservation does. I mean, without them, we wouldn't have the waters to fish on, the access points that we have. And this is the first time we've had a conservation agent on our podcast. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Before we get into it, Josh, how was lacrosse? I know Lance finished well. Brandon and Richie did pretty well. How was that event for you guys?
Everybody did well except for me. But, it was new conditions up there for all the anglers. A lot of us are used to fishing. It's been up for like the last 3 years. It's been flooded up there, and now it's finally at normal pool. So yeah, the conditions were tough. I mean, it's different. There's just grass, vegetation everywhere. So all I was catching was pike and bowfin. It was just a pike fest, and I think that happened to a lot of people. But yeah, Lance found the fish. Richie found fish. We had a lot of most of the guys did pretty well. Brandon Prince, he caught a good limit too. So yeah, Lance went up there and once again got a top 10. It's all three of the Bassmaster events so far. Lance Burris has finished in the top 10.
Good job, Lance, man. You're killing it, dude. Just you're absolutely killing it. Good job. It's really cool it's really cool to hear from you guys and not only the success, but just hear how you guys are going up there and having a good time, fishing with each other, scouting stuff out. That's cool for us.
Yeah, we usually work together. I mean, there's still a little bit of, we're not going to say it all, there's a little competition between us, but normally we stay together. The MoYak guys, we're real tight knit. We travel together. We're just catching them really good. We're not afraid to say, hey, you might want to try this bait. Or if someone else is not doing well, say, hey, you can come and launch with me if you want. I mean, I love that about MoYak, and being on the road and having friends like that you can count on is great. I mean, that's one of the things I love about the sport.
That's awesome, man. Well, congratulations to Lance and everybody that did well up there, and glad you guys did well. Before we get into our interview, let's take care of some housekeeping stuff. Right around the corner after Palmy this weekend, we have Bull Shoals September 5th. It's going to come fast and furious. Looking forward to that event. What do you think? Do you think it'll be down to normal pool by the time we get down there?
Bull Shoals never cooperates with us. So, I don't know. I hope so. I mean, I guess we'll find out. I mean, we've been dealing with crazy conditions all year, so bring it.
Then a couple weeks after that, we're going to have Stockton, and that basically wraps up our regular season, in a sense. And we still got the All-American, still got the state championship, still got the Bass Nation. Speaking of Bass Nation, September 1st, that's the deadline, correct?
Yes, if anyone is still wanting to join the Missouri Bass Nation and compete in the Missouri Bass Nation State Championship for a chance to qualify to go to the Bassmaster Classic, that's a mouthful. The deadline is coming up September 1st. Yes. So if you are interested in this, get with me quickly so we can get that taken care of.
Yeah, get signed up. At least we can fish that local event on Table Rock this year.
Yeah, it's going to be on Table Rock. I mean, top 5 guys are going to the Bassmaster Classic, and they're going to get at least $1,000 of expenses paid for. So, not too bad.
Yeah, just one good day of fishing, and you're going to the Bassmasters. How cool would that be?
Yeah, the boat guys are furious about it. They're not happy at all. But you know what? So what?
Hey, they can get over it because they can run up and down the lake wherever they want. We can't, so we get some advantage sometimes. Well, Stockton, Bull Shoals, kind of wrap that up. Saturday, catch boards. Are you going to have all those with you?
Yes, I will be bringing these monstrous cases of catch boards with me. Everybody, and if you're not going to be there, don't worry. I'll bring them to every tournament until they're all gone. So yeah, I'm going to have everybody's catch boards, and I highly recommend that everyone uses them. They are a great quality product. I've had time to use it and check it out myself. It's very easy to judge. It's very easy to use. It's lightweight. It's strong. There's no flex. I, it's almost a perfect board. What can I say? But yeah, use it. I will have them.
I watched a promo video on them where they were just dropping it off stuff. They ran it over, just kind of just trying to tear it up, and it upheld. I was kind of surprised, especially, when you see that yellow board, you think of like the hog troughs, but that thing looks tough. I mean, they literally ran it over with the vehicle and dropped it off, off from a drone, and it held up, didn't break, and that's cool to hear.
And honestly, when you hold it in your hands, it's about the same weight as a hog trough. It's not much heavier. It feels like it's just like a hog trough on steroids, but I mean, it's not much heavier.
And those Hobie guys will be excited about that. They'll get a little faster on the water when they get rid of that big old heavy metal one. If guys did not order one through you, did you happen to order any more that they can buy from you or anything like that?
I have a very few number of extras. Yes, right. I think I have about five left extras. So yeah, there will be extras at Palmy. If you didn't pay for it yet and you want to get one, you can get one there. But as soon as they're gone, that's it. I mean, after that, then everybody has to order them, on the website at normal pricing, which I believe is $29.99 without shipping. So it's better to get it now.
Yeah, we definitely got a good deal on it. That's exciting. Can't wait to get my hands on mine. Palmy Saturday, where I think you said Clear Light Inn in Hermitage is where we're meeting up, doing all that good stuff. Guys, we've got 36 guys signed up. Plenty of more, spots to fill it, fill that tournament up. Hopefully everybody shows up. Maybe everybody's waiting until payday tomorrow, but hopefully we can get,
Goes. Everybody waits till Friday, but I think a lot of people are coming for some food as much as they are the fishing.
Yeah, the food sounds good. I'm excited to hear that.
We're not only are we going to have some crawdads there, but we've kind of merged it into a fish fry too. So we're going to have a lot of fish fillets. It's going to be a good time. We'll have some good food.
I can't wait.
If you don't like the mud bugs, there's going to be other options for you. So like Jeff Mellencamp, he can't. I don't know.
The guy ain't right.
If you don't like crawdads dipped in garlic butter, I don't know what's wrong with you, man. But okay, we'll have some fish there for you too.
I was on Facebook earlier today and I saw your post about last year's Palmy tournament. I did not get to go to that one, but I was kind of happy I didn't because what was it? 64 inches was Steve Bryant. That's what he won.
It was rough. I mean, only a few people caught a limit, but it was also early spring, crazy weather, nasty. It was totally different conditions than what we've got now. If you go back to 2018 when Jeff Mellencamp won it, you'll see that there's a lot of people that were in the upper 70s, low 80s, because that was in the fall, or actually it's in the middle of the summer, about the same time, I think. I think it was in August, but
I got it pulled up. I can tell you right now when it was.
Pretty sure Jeff won it with like 81 some inches, and there's a bunch of guys in the 70s, so totally different animal.
It was June 23rd. Jeff finished with 81 and a quarter. Dylan Fuquay finished with 77 and 3/4, and then Ty Ward was 75 and a half. And then last year, completely different. You had Steve Bryant with 64, Troy Inke had 63, and Brian Hillman had 60 and 3/4.
Yeah, I mean, there's some good fish in Palmy, but last year we just got hammered by the weather.
Yeah, we did.
It was the conditions. It wasn't the lake. I'm not saying that Palmy is the best lake on our schedule, but don't judge it by what happened last spring because it's not even the same right now.
Yeah, definitely. Well, man, I'm excited about this weekend. I'm excited to talk to Matt. Let's take a quick break and we'll get right into this.
Sounds good, man. Let's do it.
Well, guys, we're back at it, and we've got Matt with us. What's up, Matt? How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
We are doing good, man.
Thanks for coming on the show, Matt. Appreciate it.
No problem. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Matt, let's start off by introducing yourself and kind of tell us what you do, man.
Okay. I'm Matt Bryant. I'm a conservation agent with the Missouri Department of Conservation. Um, my main priority is Hickory County. That's where I'm stationed. We have statewide jurisdiction, so anytime that we need to go into another county to do our job or get called across the state, we still have jurisdiction anywhere in the state of Missouri to do our job. But we're assigned a county, and that's our main priority and focus area.
That's awesome, man. It's not every day that you get to talk to a game warden or people involved in the MDC. So, I mean, glad that you're on here. Glad that you're a part of MoYak and get to visit with you, man. Looking forward to this interview. Well, let's get right into it, man. Talk to us about Pomme. Kind of, give us an overview of what guys should expect this weekend and just kind of go over some basic stuff.
Okay. Yeah, I've been working Pomme for about 5 years, so I have a little bit of history on the lake. Kind of what's been going on the weekends, pretty much since March all the way through now. Every weekend's been about like a holiday weekend as far as boat traffic goes. With school starting, we may see a little bit of decline in boat traffic coming up this week. I think this may be the last weekend for most schools kick off. So expect plenty of wakeboard boats, mainly around the main lake areas, along your deeper bluff areas. Especially if the wind blows a little bit, it's going to get pretty choppy. But there's enough coves and places to get out of the main lake and away from a lot of the big waves and boat traffic.
What's the areas that a lot of these big boats like to hang out in? Where do they usually launch from?
So a lot of them launch near the dam at the Hermitage State Park ramp. Then you'll have another section of them will launch from Lightfoot, and then another few of them will launch from the Wheatland boat ramp, and then the state park areas, and then you'll have some that will come out of the marinas, the state park marina and the Nemo marina as well.
I was there at that Nemo area on Sunday, and that got just north of that Nemo marina. There was, I mean, tubers, wakeboarders. That place got pretty busy, but that was also main lake. But there was plenty of coves that someone could get out of there. I talked to Sam Young. He said his Bolivar Landing was pretty busy as well. He said that place was a zoo down there.
Yeah, that's another busy spot, Bolivar Landing. That is the southernmost core ramp on the lake on the Pomme arm. So the people coming up from Bolivar and Springfield do hit that ramp quite a bit as well. Came on, I looked at the surface water temperature that the Corps puts out every day on their report, and of course every reading that they take is up there by the dam. That's where all their instruments are. It's 81 degrees surface water temperature, which is from last week. It's cooled down at least 3 degrees, if not 4 degrees, with these cooler nights we've had. Main lake around the dam in the first, probably you're looking 3, maybe 4 miles up each arm of the lake from the dam. You're looking at anywhere from 3 to 5 feet visibility. So it's pretty clear compared to what it was.
Yeah, that's pretty clear for Pomme.
Yeah. It's we've had this warm weather and everything, so it's cleared up a little bit. With the boat traffic though, on the weekends it does get pretty stained up. Gets pretty turbulent. We had kind of an algae bloom, so if further up you went up the arms, it got kind of a green pea soup looking color in some of the backs of the coves. But when we've had the rain, that's kind of flushed that out and it's kind of helped that a little bit. But once you get about 3 or 4 miles up the arms, you're looking at probably 2-foot visibility. So it's for Pomme, that's clear. You don't have to really throw too dark colored baits. They'll eat green pumpkin, even though you may think you need to throw something dark. But it's still water clarity is still pretty good.
One thing when you're talking about the Bolivar Landing launch, cell service is pretty spotty around Palmy, and it's not really that good. But Bolivar, the city of Bolivar, is a place where guys can go to get signal. Do you know about other areas of the lake that are good areas to go to get some service? Because I imagine a lot of guys are going to have to jump off the water early and then go find some service. So, what would you guys?
Yes, yeah, Palmy's very spotty on cell phone service. Cell phone service is not reliable. Some of your main ramps will have cell phone service. So if you launch at the main ramp there at Hermitage, you'll have cell phone service. Um, the Wheatland ramp typically has service, but Carson's Corner, which is where the Clear Light Inn is, there's cell phone service there up around the dam area. The Pittsburgh area, the Nemo area, cell phone service is pretty spotty. Pretty much anywhere on the Lindley Arm, it's pretty spotty as far as cell phone service goes once you get up away from the dam. Palmy Arm, cell phone service can be a little bit better, but closer you get to Lightfoot and Bolivar Landing, cell phone service is pretty spotty as well. But yeah, if you're on the south end of the lake on the Palmy Arm, if you go towards Bolivar, cell phone signal's good. And then once you get up around Carson's Corner area, cell phone signal gets better as well.
That's some good information to know. Kayak anglers need to know where we can submit photos before each tournament. And
But
I make it a routine before every tournament as part of my scouting to not only go look for fish but look for signal. So knowing where cell service is huge.
yeah, my experience, that's the same. And especially on Palmy, if you got signal, it probably won't have it for very long, especially if the wind blows the wrong direction. So make sure to definitely give yourself extra time to find cell phone signal and load your fish.
Yeah, if you've never been to Pomme De Terre before, be prepared. You're not going to have cell service. I promise you that.
Matt, we posted on the Facebook group talking about Pomme De Terre and kind of, what guys would ask, an MDC guide, and one guy talked about how Palmy had so many smaller fish, 13 to 15. Do you think there's a direct correlation, something going on with Palmy, or do you feel like it's just what is your opinion?
So I seen that question. I got some of them written down and kind of what my answers would be to some of those questions. I can give you my best shot. There is a lot of the 12 to 15-inch fish. Palmy is a very fertile lake. And what I mean by that is we have more forage for the fish, and especially the bass and your main predator species, than a lot of lakes. The fish grow up very quick on Palmy just because they have such a high volume of food resource. So tons of shad, tons of sunfish, your green sunfish, your bluegill, and then crappie. So I know I seen something where everybody thought maybe the musky had a correlation for the small
That's
size.
what I've always wondered. Yeah, I've wondered that.
I haven't seen anything that indicates that the muskie's causing the fish to be small. And to be honest with you, this is in my 5 years that I've worked and been around Pomme De Terre Lake, the bass, this is the biggest that I've ever seen the average size bass population. Back in June, there were several bass boat tournaments, and guys that were coming in, getting first place, they were coming in 27, 28, 29 pounds. One guy almost broke 30 pounds, and
Wow.
that never happens on Palmy. I've seen more 5 to 7 pound bass caught this year than I've seen in the last 5 years.
Why do you think? Why do you think that is?
So last year we had record floods. Palmy,
Flooding?
yep, the flooding. So that protected the fish last year. As soon as they started to spawn, that lake jumped up and they became pretty much inaccessible. So they didn't get much pressure. That affected all species: crappie, bass, bluegill, muskie. The walleye population this year hasn't really showed up. We had a fish kill last year on Palmy that affected the mature walleye. There was roughly about 200 mature walleye that died, they probably ranged anywhere from 22 to 30 inches. That was around the main due to high water temperatures and low dissolved oxygen down there in the bottom of the lake. But we've had two big flood years in the last 4 years, and that has allowed the fish to be protected and just flourish and forage without too much predators, and they've been able to really thrive.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's what we want to happen. I wonder if this is going to be happening on Bull Shoals too, because Bull Shoals has been flooded for almost 4 years now. So I wonder if we could be seeing an uptrend in some of these lakes that have been flooded. In the next couple of years, the bass fishing could really explode in the Ozarks.
Just based on what I've seen on Pomme, I think that has a pretty good correlation. I've talked to our fisheries biologist, and low pressure, and not just from the anglers, but from predators as well. High nest success rate on hatching, and low predators, just because there's so much water, everything's so spread out. They can spawn pretty protected areas, so they're the fry hatch and grow real quick.
Sounds like good news to me.
Right now, the lake is fishing kind of tough. What I've seen, the number of bass tournaments has dwindled pretty low. There's not as many guys out there hitting it. They're still finding some decent fish, but they're having to hunt. Of course, this time of year, they do spread out quite a bit. The schools, you can't find the large schools because they're starting to kind of split up. But the early morning bite's been good along the banks. You're still looking at main lake points, and the main pockets of the mouths of coves is kind of where a lot of things are being caught. But some of the fish will show up. If you got a cloudy long morning, they will show up towards the backs. Not all the way in the back, but kind of midway back.
Good to know. What else we got, John?
As far as like the MDC, are there any projects or stuff that's going on that you're seeing directly around Pamme or in Hickory County for that matter?
So right now, the department's main focus is on our priority geography areas, which we have a couple. Nothing's directly around the lake itself. They're up on the north end and the east side of the county. That has to do with the Little Niangua River watershed, because we have the endangered protected Niangua river darter. But around the lake, our fisheries biologist, they sample the lake every year. They do trap muskies, and they do crappie net, and the fish populations have been super healthy from what I've talked to the biologist. And I got some muskie stocking numbers from him the other day when I messaged him. And so if we want to get into that, kind of answer some muskie questions, I'd be willing to get into that.
Yeah, I was actually just about to ask that. I've never caught a muskie, never really fished for muskie. Are they self-sustaining, or do you have to restock them every year up there at Pamme?
So muskie gets stocked annually on Pamme. The average is 4,700 muskie every year. They get stocked in October. So they split that up. Half gets stocked on the Lindley Arm around the Nemo area, and then the other half gets stocked at the Wheatland Boat Ramp on the Pamme Arm. They are 10 to 14 inches in length when they get stocked. They don't know of any naturally reoccurring reproduction in the lake, but I think they try, but they haven't been able to do any studies to be able to see if they do any natural reproduction.
Why is that? Why can't they reproduce?
That's a question I honestly I can't answer. I know we stock them. They may have natural reproduction in the lake, but either due to lack of resources and different things, I don't know if the biologists have had chance to check on natural reproduction in the lake or not.
Yeah, I would think they are. I mean, I've seen Jurassic Park. Nature finds a way, right?
They are kind of prehistoric looking.
Yeah, they are.
Matt, how often do you get to fish Pommy?
I used to be able to fish a little bit more, but started a family, so I have a little one, and so I have a lot less time to get out there and fish. But I mainly fish a lot from the bank. I do a lot of bank fishing when I can get away from the house for an hour or two. And I can find places and do pretty good. Summertime, nighttime is the best time in the summertime. Fish um, just beat the heat and they get a little bit more active. Um, where Palmy is only a little over 8,000 acres in size for an impoundment in this state, it's pretty small. Um, so they feel the pressure pretty quick, especially this year. We've had record number of anglers on the lake this year, especially this spring. You couldn't go into a cove without 4 or 5 boats in every cove. It was take a number to find a spot to fish. So they feel the pressure. So they get deep. When it gets to be their summer patterns, they get offshore and they get deep and they school up and they kind of do that sort of thing. But you have the fish that live shallow. But when that sun gets up, they get in that deeper water and because they like to cool off and get around that cover and just kind of do their thing.
Yeah, they like that shade too. If you can find some shade, that's always good.
Yeah, the bluffs, once the sun gets up and gets hot, the bluffs provide a lot of shade and the quick access to deep water. So that's an area to maybe look at as well.
So definitely you can tell that, you and your dad, kayak fishing, your dad finished well last year, ended up winning Palmy. I'm sure you guys get out there, more than most guys. What are some basic staple patterns that you would recommend to guys?
Um, can't this time of year, top water in the first thing in the morning. Um, Whopper plopper, that's kind of my favorite. I kind of live and die by that on the summertime. A popper can be good. Buzz bait, of course. Those are my main three top waters. Um, and then once that sun gets up, um, you may be along the bluffs, maybe get on a swim bait bite, maybe a spinner bait, chatter bait, square bill, reaction baits. And then once that sun gets up and starts beating on the water, it's shaky head, Ned rig, Carolina rig, Texas rig, dragging a worm, brush hog, something like that on the bottom, and just kind of grind it out.
Yeah, water can warm up there quick during the day. We've had some pretty warm events on Palmy before. I've seen
I've,
some.
I've I've seen it warm up 5 degrees in a day, pretty easy. Looking at the weather forecast, I think it's supposed to be 90 degrees on Saturday, and sunny. So that water temperature will warm up pretty quick, especially if you're fishing in a shallow area with minimal shade.
Yeah, I haven't been there yet, but I would guess it would be in the low 90s in those areas that are getting that direct sun.
Oh yeah, especially if you go up the river and the creek arms, yeah, you're gonna see a lot warmer temperatures than what the main lake's gonna be.
Cool.
I seen a question on the Facebook asking about the smallmouth on Palmy.
Yeah, man.
Kind of the main lake, they're a unicorn. I haven't talked to anybody that's ever really caught. Maybe in 5 years, I've maybe talked to a couple guys that's caught them on the main lake, but that's not up around the dam. That's kind of up the Palmy Arm, closer towards Lightfoot and the 83 Marina and Bolivar Landing area. But there are smallmouth in the Pomme De Terre River, um, up above the McCracken Bridge, PP Highway. You got to go up several miles to start getting into them, depending on the year. But they like the cleaner water and the current, so they stay up there in the river.
What's the condition on that PP bridge? Is that still under construction? Is that access gone, or can anybody still launch there?
Yeah, nope. Access is still there. The bridge is complete. It's 2-lane traffic now. It's got a brand new top. It's and you can get through. So it's in good shape.
Cool.
Speaking of smallmouth and current and rivers, um, Does Palmy have quite a bit of access, way up those rivers?
No, basically the only access up there would be the PP Bridge area and an area called the Cave Hole, which is a dead end parking lot on a road, and you kind of it's a walk down, kind of launch off the bank kind of spot. That area is above the bridge. It's still by the core boundary marker. It's still considered lake at that point up there. I haven't looked at the boundary map what Josh posted, but the core boundary.
It's a core boundary
Okay,
map.
so that area is still considered main lake, even though it looks like it's river.
Yeah.
But it's up. The lake boundary is just a little ways up from there, so you're not too far from being in the river at that point. But that's basically it. You got Bolivar Landing, PP Bridge, and then the Cave Hole, which is about enough spot to park a couple vehicles, and you got to drag your kayaks and stuff down off the bank, and it's a pretty remote spot. So, but the river's pretty dirty. We haven't had any rain for a while, so it may be a little stagnant up in there, not having much current. But it's a different ball game than the main lake, that's for sure.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we have some of those guys that maybe just paddle only. How? I mean, is it hard to get up to those skinnier waters if they can't put in those areas?
Yeah, if you can put at Bolivar Landing, you have a several mile paddle ahead of you. You're probably looking at 5 miles, well, probably 5 to 7 mile paddle just to get up to the skinnier water.
I've tried to do it before. It's a long ways.
Yes, it is a long ways. Yes, it is. Yeah, access up on the river area is not good. Once you get up above the other areas I talked about, it's all private, and they don't pretty much let anybody put in there. Of course, that's just the river at that point. So.
Right on. Well, is there anything else that you've been working on, like wildlife restoration, or what other projects do you have going on up there? Or, can you kind of give us an idea of like what you do in a day? I guess is what I'm asking.
Okay, so my job on a normal day is my main job is patrol. So we patrol summertime, springtime. It's kind of a mix. Summertime it's mainly focusing on fishing activity. So the lake, I have a lake boat. I patrol their lake and parts of Truman Lake. So I put on average about 150 boat hours a year between Palmy and Truman. Most of that being on Palmy. So late spring, May through August, I'm mainly focusing on fishing pressure, fishing activity. So that takes up most of our time. Contacting fishermen, working on making sure people are littering. We mainly focus when we're out there on the water, where we have Missouri has the State Highway Patrol Water Patrol Division. They mainly focus on boating safety, the boating laws. We do some of that as well, but our main focus is the resource. So making sure people are have their fishing permits, make sure they're not going over limit on fish species, and making sure they're legal length, and they're not littering, and they're using the resource properly. Once hunting season comes around, so we got dove season coming up September 1st, so we'll start mixing in both fishing and hunting enforcement activities. And also, education is a big part of our job. We do as much outreach and education as possible. So we teach hunter ed classes, we do school programs, we do radio shows, we do stuff like this. Try to get educate the public and get involved with the public as much as possible. If we can educate the public in a non-enforcement situation, we are compliance. If someone can sees me as not a scary person, but someone that can call and ask a question, a regulation question, or they need assistance with something. That's what we want. We want good relationships with the public. That way they can call us if they need anything, have any questions, or if they see something going on, they're happy to call us, and they know who we are.
Yeah, I mean, I think in Missouri we are really lucky to have the Department of Conservation that we have. I know we were one of the first states in the country that ever started using a state tax that funded the MDC. Which gives us all these great access points, these public parks. I just want to say thanks, man. I appreciate everything you do. I am a big supporter of the MDC, and I have no complaints about anything. I know there's always complaints from somebody, but man, I think the Missouri Department of Conservation is top notch in the country, and I'm proud of them. And thank you.
No, I appreciate that, Josh. Yeah, no, the way I look at it, I got a job to do, and I love my job. I'm happy to do it, and then every time I get told thanks, it means a lot.
Well, you should be thanked because you're doing a lot of work to protect what we all love. Nature. Whether it's the rivers, the fish, the hunting, the animals, the habitat. I mean, that's what you guys do. So, man, yes, thank you.
Oh, happy to do it.
Hey Matt, what are some simple things that we may not think about while we're out on the water, or while we're at a ramp, or out hunting? What are some simple things that we can do to help you all out? What do you guys see that really affects you guys a lot?
So, if everybody can go out prepared, that helps us a lot. We get a lot of instances where folks maybe underestimate what they're getting into. I've had water rescues on the river. People underestimating the flow of the river. That's below the dam, and they get in trouble, and then we get called out to assist them to get them out of harm's way. So if they could just make sure and understand what situations they're going to get into, and have a plan, that helps out a bunch. Make sure they if they take in trash, make sure they bring out trash. We have a lot of issues with littering on our areas and our accesses. And if they see something odd, to give us a call, let us know. We're fortunate in Hickory County. There's two of us. I have a partner, so there's two agents in Hickory County, along with my lieutenant. So when he's not doing supervisor duties, he's out patrolling as well. So we're lucky to have as much resources as we do here in Hickory County. But there's only 2 or 3 of us out at most, so extra eyes from the public helps us out a bunch. But yeah, making sure that everybody knows the regulations. We all make simple mistakes, and I understand that. But making sure you know the regulations and properly permitted, that saves folks a lot of headaches in the end.
Man, that's some good advice, and I think we should all heed that. I appreciate that. Well, man, Matt, thanks for coming on. I appreciate you coming on and talking with us. You've given us some great information, some great insight, not only on Pomme De Terre, but the Department of Conservation. So thanks, brother.
No problem. Thank you, Josh, for having me on.
Yep, man. I hope to see you on the water pretty soon, man.
Sounds good.
Take care of that family, bud.
I will. Thanks, Josh.